Hello, my name is Jakob Bruckmusser, and in this video I'm going to present the progress of the design, development and testing of a manipulation system for the NASA Mini-RASSOR lunar robot. It is suitable for basic additive manufacturing technologies, including the developed cycloidal drives. In situ resource utilization is the practice of collecting and processing materials found on other astronomical objects like the Moon. ISRU eliminates the need to deliver these materials from the Earth and drastically decreases the payload weight and therefore the cost of the project. According to NASA, in situ resource utilization will enable the affordable establishment of extraterrestrial exploration and operations. With the Regolith Advanced Surface Systems Operations robot, NASA plans to mine the regolith and create sintered regolith pavers. The pavers are used to create a platform for spacecrafts to land on in order to mitigate the effects of a lander rocket engine exhaust plume impinging on the regolith surface, which can cause cratering and high-speed ejector. Florida Space Institute's RE-RASSOR project, which is the research and education version of the NASA RASSOR robot, aims to create a robo-mobility platform suitable for basic additive manufacturing technologies, which is licensed for research and education use. With such a mobility platform, the resource utilization can be drastically reduced and it can be focused on the development of the exploration systems and instrumentation. This thesis covers the development of a 5 degrees of freedom manipulation system for the Mini-RASSOR, which is able to place a NASA Swampbox paver onto the lunar surface, creating a vertical takeoff and vertical landing pad. As the main goal of the RE-RASSOR project is to reduce the cost, it is required that the arm is 3D printable and that commonly available stepper motors are used. The main challenge during this project was the development of a high-torque 3D printable transmission smaller than 60 mm to allow the use of NEMA 17 stepper motors. To design the arm, the forces and torques acting on the arm during the operation need to be known. The first step is to look at the system without movement to calculate the static and always acting forces on the arm. The main static forces are weight of the arm itself and the mass of the payload, namely the paver. With these always acting forces, I found the main torsional and bending stress for the links of the arm. Of course, the movement and especially the acceleration and deceleration of the arm generate additional forces and torques which translate to an additional torsional stress on the links. I've done the dynamic calculation with the recursive Newton-Euler approach and verified it by static and Lagrange calculations. While determining the thicknesses of the links, I considered the following criterions of failure: buckling, material failure with the Van Mises yield criterion, and the deformation of the links, which directly translate into stiffness and the overall accuracy of the arm. The occurring torques ranging from 14 to 6 Nm require the joints to have a transmission with a transmission ratio of roughly 30:1. It has to be noted that the required torque at joint 1 is mainly a result of dynamic effects and can be drastically reduced, so the transmission ratio at this specific joint can be lower. My first thought was to implement and convert harmonic drives as they have high gear ratios, are lightweight due to their high compactness, and are nowadays commonly used in robotic arms. The first design consisted of a flex spline printed in PLA, but the brittleness and stiffness of PLA filament made the use of this case impossible. The flexible TPU filament was too flexible to transfer any torque and had to be discarded as well. The most promising approach was the use of a timing belt as a flex spline, and a transmission ratio of 10.4:1 could be achieved. But at this point, the timing belt was deforming and stopped the further increase in transmission ratio. The finally used design is a cycloidal drive with a contracted cycloid. It displayed a better 3D printability, and the high gear ratios, as well as still being lightweight and compact, made it very attractive. During the development and testing of the design, I decided to make two different drives. The first drive I designed had a theoretical transmission ratio of 30:1, and I achieved a maximum torque of 7.1 Nm, which is a transmission ratio of about 22:1 and therefore having an efficiency of 74%. If I want to have a transmission ratio of 30:1, I need a theoretical transmission ratio of about 43:1, and indeed this second transmission was able to produce and slightly outperform with a transmission ratio of 31:1. As this transmission is larger and heavier than the 30:1 transmission, it is only used in joint 2. The rover is meant to be self-dependent and autonomous, so the integrated stereo vision camera allows the rover to precisely determine the location where to put the paver, as well as making the arm a closed-loop system. The process of unloading a paver starts with the grabbing of the paver off the back of the rover and placing it on the ground in front or beside an already lying paver. The design of the pavers allows an inaccuracy of the arm of up to 10 millimeters. To complete the design and development of the arm, I had to test the final lifting capability. To lift the paver in lunar gravity, a substitute mass of at least 1.9 kg has to be lifted on Earth. I determined the final lifting capability of the arm to be greater than 2.6 kg, which is more than the desired 1.9 kg, and therefore the requirement of the arm is fulfilled. Here, it can be seen that the different step types result in a different motion behavior. If the micro-step is used, the movement is slower and smoother. Here, for example, the video is sped up 10 times. In contrary, the double step type displays a faster but jerky motion. The 3D printed transmission has a backlash of about 1 degree, which translates into a backlash at the end effector of plus minus 10 millimeters. This backlash is the result of the loose tolerances of a 3D print and was taken as a compromise between low friction inside the transmission and the overall accuracy. The graph shows the results of an accuracy and repeatability test. The test consisted of the manual movement of the stepper motors to a start position and the repeated back and forth movement to this position. 10 tests were exemplarily conducted, with each consisting of 5 back and forth movement cycles. During these tests I found out that the first cycle has most deviation, and only for a few tests an additional deviation was found for the second cycle. The maximum deviation was 6.2 millimeters and the mean deviation approximately 2.9 millimeters. This deviation is smaller than the error that the paper design can compensate, and due to the stereo camera integration, the arm is a closed-loop system which can adapt and compensate for the backlash. Therefore, the requirement of the system is met. To keep this presentation short, the overall process of the design and development was simplified and shortened. To get a more detailed information, feel free to contact me or my supervisor, Mike Conray, to get access to the written documentation of this master thesis project.